In June of this year, I uploaded a video called Huge Final Fantasy VII Discovery Brings Aerith Back to Life. In that video, I showed off a combination of glitches which over the course of an hour allows you to eventually add Aerith back into the main party. The video did really well, and I want to just personally thank everybody who watched it and left positive comments. I'll talk a bit later in this video why, but I just want to say thank you so much. Now, the thing about that video is that it took me over an hour to set up everything, and I was so focused on making sure I didn't forget anything and that I was explaining everything correctly that I didn't really give myself time to give the whole thing context and answer everyone's questions about it. So that's what this video is for. So first of all, what is even happening in the video? So in Final Fantasy VII, the character Aerith, spoiler alert, dies, and so for the last 25 years, people have uploaded hoax after hoax after hoax, trying to trick people into thinking that there's some kind of developer-intended Easter egg in the game to revive her. These range from side quests involving Aerith's ghost in the church, to goofy stuff like flushing the toilet in Shinra HQ 100 times, or beating Emerald Weapon without the underwater materia. So this isn't really what's happening in my video. In my video, I'm showing off a combination of glitches that have been found by speedrunners, glitch hunters, and challenge runners over the course of the last 25 years, and the result of all of the glitches put together is us reviving Aerith. This is why I didn't name the video something like 25-year-old secret finally found, or after all these years, Aerith has finally been revived. That would have been a bit disingenuous because what was found isn't exactly the same thing that has been hoaxed over all these years, even though the final result is the same, which is reviving Aerith. Now, the number one question I received on the video was, does this work on PS1? Does this work on PS4, Switch, Xbox, etc.? Now, I kind of blame myself for this. I do say at the very beginning of the video that this works on the PC version and the Steam version, but I didn't say it only works on the PC and Steam version, which led to all the comments. In any case, this works on PC and Steam, as well as potentially mobile. I got a comment about it potentially working on mobile, and I haven't seen anyone go through and actually verify it yet. But given the description that he gives as to why he couldn't give it to work, it definitely seems like he knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now, and we'll say that it potentially works on mobile as well. But why doesn't this work on PS1, PS4, Switch, etc.? Well, funnily enough, almost the entire thing does work on every single version of the game. The only issue is warping. All of the game moment stuff, all of the stuff in the Shinra HQ, as well as Aerith being in the party and not crashing the game, all of that stuff should theoretically work on every version of the game. The problem is that all of the console ports of the game do not allow the player to warp. And that is all of the warps, Yuffie warping, wrong warping, anything that uses battle mode flags to warp the player where they're not supposed to be, none of that works on console. Now, if you watch my Wrong Warp documentary, you'll get a very detailed explanation as to why this is, but to give you the Cliff Notes version, basically all of the console versions of Final Fantasy VII wipe global memory when you reset the game. The PC, Steam, and potentially mobile version do not, which is what allows us to warp. Now, obviously, the holy grail of all of this would be to revive Aerith on the original PS1 version that all of us played as kids, without any outside interference. However, the PC version of Final Fantasy VII released only a year and a half after the original PS1 version, so there's a good chance that a lot of those kids you were talking to on the bus about the Aerith hoaxes could have been playing the PC version. Having said that, obviously it would be even cooler to find this on the original PS1 version, and hopefully what has been found here helps pave the way to eventually finding it. One question I saw a lot was, will this ever be found on PS1? And my personal take on that is this exact glitch, probably not. The code that wipes global memory is just a bit too deep for us to have access to as Cloud in the game. The only way we would ever be able to do something like that is if we were to find arbitrary code execution, which, funnily enough, there has been inklings of potentially finding arbitrary code execution in the PC version, so who knows? Maybe down the line we figure out a way to do it on PC, and then we figure out a way to do it on console. and then we can use arbitrary code execution to just place Aerith back in the party, no warping required. For now though, this is a step in the right direction. We now know that if we can get back there on the PS1 version, everything should fall in place from there. So who knows where this goes? Another question I saw a lot on this video, as well as pretty much every speedrun, glitch hunting, challenge running video I've ever seen, is how do people find stuff like this? There are videos on YouTube dedicated to this exact question that you can search out for yourself, but I'll give a very brief summary. There's basically three main ways that glitches like this in video games are found. Number one, somebody has a problem and they smash their head against the wall using prior knowledge they have about the game until they figure it out. Number two, somebody has a problem and they look deep into the code of the game using the knowledge they have about how the game works, as well as general mathematics and problem solving to figure it out that way. Or three, it's found by complete accident. In the first case, you have a lot of the stuff that's been found in the Final Fantasy VII speedrun over the years. We knew how warping worked for a long time, and once we had a better understanding of how game moment worked, we started warping all over the game to try to figure out how we could use that to our advantage, eventually leading to a bunch of different routes wrong warping to the end of the game. In the second case, you have stuff like the Super Mario 64 A button challenge, which has a huge group of people coming together and solving problems using mathematics and their understanding of how the game works. And in the third case, you have stuff like that Metal Gear Solid skip that was accidentally found by someone not even speedrunning the game. In the case of the reviving Aerith glitch, it was mostly a combination of the first two. We had already known how to completely skip over the Aerith death scene. I had made a video about that a long time ago, but Songsang and Dynamics made a forum post 8 years ago talking about trying to find a way to keep Aerith throughout the entire game and not have to skip any content. They had reached a dead end, but then this year, Michaelis picked it back up and used our current knowledge of warping and game moment to finally solve the puzzle. When Michaelis made his post, Dynamics actually approached me about making a video for it, so I jumped in to see if I could do it too. In doing so, I was able to find a route that didn't use all the same prerequisites that Michaelis did in his route, and I was able to revive Aerith at the exact moment that she leaves the party. I do want to stress once again though, that is all I added to this. These three guys deserve all the credit, especially Michaelis, who was able to pick up an 8-year-old mystery and solve it on his own. Michaelis even helped me figure out how to do it correctly, so thank you, Michaelis. Another thing that I didn't get a chance to explain in my video is this is not the best way to get Aerith back in the party. The big revelation in all of this is that it is now possible to get Aerith back in the party without skipping any of the content of the game, without altering the game's code or using any external devices whatsoever. We are only playing the game and only pressing buttons in the game, and we are able to revive Aerith in this way. But having said that, if you want to play the game with Aerith, there are many better ways to do it. You can use a Game Shark to do it on the original PS1. You can use a save game editor to do it on the PC version. You can even run a mod that does it for you. If you want to do this glitch for yourself to say that you've done it, that's awesome, but I don't expect many people to go through the hour-long setup for this. The video is more of just a showcase to show that yes, it can be done. So hopefully this answers a lot of the questions people had, and if you watch the original video and this video and you still have any questions at all about this, feel free to leave them down below and I will do my absolute best to answer them. Before I go, I want to just say once again, thank you so much for all of the support and positivity on the original video. When I uploaded it, I was obviously very worried that it would be seen as just another Aerith hoax, and for very good reason. They've been done for so long at this point that I don't think people even watch them anymore. They just click on them and immediately call them fake. In addition, it's a really long video because the glitch takes a very long time to set up, so at first glance, it does look like it's that type of video where I'm going to string you along throughout the entire video and then at the very end say, by the way, it's fake. So the fact that you guys were able to watch the entire video, realize that it wasn't fake, and give so much of a positive reaction really meant a lot to me. In addition, I don't really talk a lot about subscribers on this channel, but we were sitting at like 89,000 subscribers for the longest time. And after I uploaded this video, we shot up to like 91,000, which shows me that new people saw the video and realized that it wasn't fake. And I genuinely think that's because of you guys, because you guys came onto the video, immediately gave it a chance, wrote the positive comments, and, you know, people saw that, like, oh, this is not just a hoax. Maybe it's not the exact Easter egg that has been talked about over the last 25 years, but it is a real video where we really are bringing Aerith back, and it's not some kind of just goofy joke. So I genuinely think that's because of you guys, and I cannot thank you enough. And I'm genuinely so blessed that I have a community that would do that for me. So thank you. Once again, if you have any questions at all about this after watching both videos, be sure to leave it below and I'll do my best to answer it. And we'll just see where this goes. Maybe it leads to something else. Maybe it doesn't. Only time will tell.